Hey there, I'm back to finally do this shit. I said I was gonna make a video about parenting. So here I am to do it before I take a much deserved nap. Okay. Um oh, and before I begin, I know some people do this already, but I'm going to tell you because I noticed that I also was having trouble keeping up with my water intake markings on the board on the calendar. What I did instead is I got a gallon jug, and I just refill that. And I have a little cup. Uh, I got a gift for my birthday coming up, so I fill this up and I just refill the gallon, and that way I know I'm drinking a gallon a day. Easy hack. Okay, I know a lot of people do that anyway, but I just wanted to mention that the water intake, carefully planning that, was not working either. So you just modify where you can. Okay, so I wrote this on March 22nd. We are now like 3 weeks past that. But I heard multiple conflicting views on the topic of parenting, and I decided I would weigh in. So right now I'm a stay-at-home mom, for anyone that doesn't know. And since June 2021, Aaron has not left my side for more than 8 hours total. Um, let's talk about the hardest job in the world. What I saw was a comedian that I don't particularly care for. Okay, for different reasons. I feel that his content is race pandering, so I don't really like him a lot. And I don't know. He just seems to have like an asshole personality. Like in real life, he's probably much of an asshole. So I stay away from that. But he said being a parent is not the hardest job in the world. And then he compared it to men who worked on oil rigs in the ocean that had exploded and needed to stay alive long enough for the Coast Guard to reach them before the sharks do. One thing that really grinds my gears is the stark comparison. First of all, what he described was not a harder job, but a more dangerous job in theory. Again, the split is made between physically taxing versus emotionally taxing, as he minimized the emotional suffering of a 4-year-old boy who threw a tantrum and would not eat his food. So, for the people who minimize child rearing as not as a difficult job, I'm here today to tell you why it is, in fact, the hardest job. One, there are no training or instruction manuals to do your job properly. You learn from examples of others in a lot of cases, and those can be wrong because they didn't have training or instruction manuals either. You can read parenting books, follow child psychologists and whatnot, but I find a lot of people don't. You can go to jail if you do your job wrong. There are a few jobs in the working world where this consequence is the case. They usually involve money or children or negligence of other people, and very rarely do these people end up in jail. They usually end up with a fine or lose their license. But jail time is only in extreme cases. Whereas if you're a parent and fraud the system to pay a child's expenses, neglect or harm a child, you can face many years, and rarely do people get off for it. This is not a qualm. As a parent, you are responsible for your child in an entirely different way than, say, an accountant is for their client's finances or a teacher is for their student. And you should have consequences should you fail. I'm simply noting that a risk of imprisonment is far more harrowing in the line of work of parenthood than any other. A parent who intentionally harms their child will see more years in prison than that of a teacher. With that added effect comes the haters, naysayers, and those who disagree with your parenting. They will undoubtedly try to get you put in jail with a call to CPS if they disagree with anything that you do. Even doctors can make mistakes and call CPS on you to save their own skin. They can call if your child has low iron and if you're breastfeeding. They can call if your child is overweight, underweight, a little too mouthy, doesn't know God, you don't brush their teeth every day, or they had too many ear infections or get sick often. If you let them watch too much adult content, if they miss too much school or are not enrolled in school, if they don't have a regular routine or scream in a way that your neighbor thinks indicates their safety is being threatened, they can even call if they disagree with your actual day job and identify outside of parenthood. Please tell me what job has this level of scrutiny outside of actors and Hollywood type folks and strippers and OnlyFans models, you know. Um as soon as you have children, you are subjected to a paparazzi of your own filled with neighbors, family members, and other members of the community to judge your every move. At work, you only answer to your boss and peers, but as a parent, the only boss should be you, but somehow you're subjected to the will of unpaid, uninvited coworkers. When I did employ you in my home to worry about when did I employ you in my home to worry about every single thing that happens within its walls? You are subjected to hazardous work conditions, loud noises, bodily fluids constantly and never ends. The volume of bodily fluids increases, and they only get louder as they get older and begin to learn the ranges of their voices and their talents with whistling and other musical instruments. To be subjected to such noise on a consistent basis is in fact torture. And you risk hurting feelings if you ask them to turn down their volumes. And you may say, fuck them kids' feelings, but that is the hardest part of parenting. If you ignore their feelings too much, your child will be a danger to society. And all blame falls on you. Not hugging them enough or buying them enough stuff, you know? Not waiting till marriage to birth them. The state of society is essentially your fault. But you never even had a manual. Parenthood is only easy to an active and emotionally immature parents, emotionally insensitive parents. I love children. I have great experience with children. Some aspects are essentially easy with understanding, but still requires more effort. And a parent to that point is exhausting, okay? When you parent right, it's tiring as fuck. Because every time that you could choose to yell at them or do anything and you choose to do like the proper stuff, that takes a lot of emotional energy. It takes a lot of physical energy, okay? Because it's very easy to just smack a kid. It takes a lot more restraint not to and to reason with them. And a lot of people don't want to do that. That's why it's easy for you and hard for me. You know? Okay? I already mentioned it, but I'll give you an example because I just mentioned this. I didn't experience children that ask why a lot. I bypass it. That makes it a whole lot easier than answering why 20 times in a row, possibly having a tantrum in response, and more effective than I said so. Okay? I already gave you this example in another video. I took it out of this video, actually. So the example I gave about why he can't have more juice, right? I already gave you 2, which wasn't good of me to do, as too much sugar can make you sick, keep you from being able to run, and you love running, right? Well, you think to yourself, you're not about to do all that. You're not about to explain yourself to a child. But that thought is actually counterproductive. Of course, you tailor it to the individuality of the child. I actually wouldn't say anything about sleep to Aaron, you know. As you learn your child, giving the why, who, where, what, and when every time you speak, though requires a lot of effort, takes effort down elsewhere. Less discipline, less requirement to manage emotional outbursts. Even for those things like that, they wanted to open their own drink. And you didn't know, so now they're crying. Shoot, my bad. You grow up so fast. I didn't realize you didn't need my help. These things they're emotionally taxing. Oh my God. I opened it yesterday because I thought you needed help. I thought today you still didn't know how to open it. I'm sorry. I won't open it anymore until you ask. No tantrums come out of that, okay? But of course, Aaron only throws tantrums for one thing, and that's the phone. Which, because we have tailored the way we, even just doing this regimen for him, you know, There's no more arguments about the phone, but look at how much effort goes into a day. Like when I'm doing it right, okay? So much effort goes into that day, and you want to tell me my job's not hard? So now he doesn't complain about the phone. He does when it's time to go to bed, but I like the phone so much. This is every day. Every day. He doesn't do the screaming and the yelling like he was doing a few months ago. He stopped that. But he still argues with me. I like the phone so much. I like it so much. Why are you taking the phone from me? You must not love me. And you've broken my heart. But then he goes to bed, and it's not the big theatrics that it was before, because he's getting so much fulfillment in other places. But this takes work. It is the hardest job in the world. And because so many people have failed at it is why we have the society that we have now. Stop. And then we're going to get I want to get into this, but there's like serious gaslighting in regards to women and pay inequality. This comes right off of the Man Hours timeline, where a woman says that women are not paid less is against the law, and it is. In a in a setting where you both work the same job, you aren't going to get paid less. But then they go on to say, well, women take more time off work, women take lower paying jobs, and I'm gonna give you a prime example of where the patriarchy is still in control. Okay, because who deemed that the jobs that women take pay less? The prime example of that is teaching jobs. Okay, because when we're talking about parenting, a teacher is the second most important person in a child's life. Primarily, women are teachers. They are less paid than 59% of the working population. But you'll say that women don't get paid less. It's how you strategically choose jobs that women take and pay them less, though their job is still important. I'm not talking about big jobs, like not big jobs, but I'm not talking about the difference between MBA and WNBA. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where a woman is primarily a pediatrician versus a surgeon. A woman is a teacher versus a professor, and she gets paid less. When it comes to children, you have no problem with paying people less. Women who raise children do not get paid anything for that. But if I do go to work, I have no choice but to take a lower paying job because I had children at a young age and I don't have any education. I have no choice but to take a lower paying job. Then I have no choice but to take more time off because I'm the only available parent. This is what I'm talking about here when I say there's a difference in pay equality. Who determined that the jobs that women take pay less? Then you give the excuse that they take more time off, but don't we have to give birth to the children that run the world? Come on. Stop with the degrading people who care for children. Stop it. It's hard. It's very, very hard. That's why that lady that was driving the buses got a GoFundMe. Because exactly what I'm doing is what everyone needs to be doing who's at home. You need to be training your children to be able to sit down and not drive teachers crazy, not drive people who are supposed to be taking care of them crazy. You teach them no respect. You don't teach them how to sit down. You don't teach them anything about routine. Then wonder why there's a teacher shortage. There's a teacher shortage because, one, the children are disrespectful as fuck and have no home training. And then you don't want to pay them anything either. I would choose something else. But what happens if you don't have teachers? I'll tell you what happens. Right now, America is currently experiencing a lower IQ. No surprise at all. None whatsoever. Because first, parenting isn't important and not a hard job. Teaching isn't a hard job. Get the fuck out of here. All right, I'm taking my nap now. Have a good day.